Okay, so now that we have our victim client entered, I'm going to now enter information about the person who caused harm or the offender. So to get there, I'm just going to click on this offender link. And you can see there's no offenders tied to this victim. So I'm going to click new offender. InfoNet does allow me to add as many offenders as I need to. Some survivors do have more than one. The offender ID is grayed out. InfoNet will automatically assign this for you. So you just enter the offender's age, gender. Note that, or no, this is the same. Race ethnicity is a mutually exclusive drop-down menu where you can only select one field. So it's different than the multi-select race category you enter for clients. It's a little inconsistent, but it's not the top priority. So that's why it's still a drop-down menu. So I'm going to select, there is a multiracial category if the person who caused harm identifies with multiple races. Relationship to victim. In the last few years, we've had suggestions from you all to add. So we just added these two in the last few years based on feedback. Okay, we're going to say coworker. And then where this offender lives, down to the county level. We don't go down to the zip code level for offenders. You can indicate whether or not they're a registered offender. Now, next, we have the person who caused harm. If they are involved in the criminal justice system, if they are arrested and they're undergoing through the criminal justice process, you can actually enter data on all those outcomes here. So I'm going to click this plus button here to add a record. It asks me if an arrest was made. I'm going to say yes. Date of arrest. I'm going to go back in time a little bit. And again, these are not required by ICASA or any other funder I'm aware of, but they can be really helpful in advocating for systems change. You can indicate what the police charges. We'll say aggravated criminal sexual assault. And when selecting the charges, there are a gazillion different types of charges that in Illinois criminal code. So when designing this field, we picked the most commonly used by sexual assault providers and organized them into 3 groups. So the shaded pink charges are the most common. And then you'll see the color change. They start alphabetizing again. These are also charges that we've seen, but just slightly less common than those shaded pink. The ones shaded pink are sexual violence crimes specifically. The ones shaded blue are more physical violence charges. And then the final and third group are shaded yellow, and they're different types of charges. They could be physical, they could be property, but they're just charges that are a little less common, but not used from time to time. So we decided to include them. So you can pick any charge that this person was arrested for. There is also an other charge category if none of the charges this person was arrested for is available on this menu. And then the charge type is simply if it's a felony or a misdemeanor, and then the date. Because they're not always the same, right? Sometimes there's a charge for a crime or a warrant put out for somebody's arrest, but then they're not arrested until a short time later or a long time later sometimes. Okay, so that's the arrest, and you can enter as many arrests as you need to or as many charges. Sometimes people are arrested for more than one charge. At the state's attorney's level, I can click this plus button here if it makes it to the state's attorney. I can indicate if charges were filed and what the charges, what the prosecutor charged this person with, because we know that's not always the same as what they were arrested for. Maybe they were arrested for aggravated criminal sexual assault, but the prosecutor feels they can only charge with criminal sexual assault without the aggravated attached to it. And then the charge date, disposition or the outcome of that case, and the disposition date. And again, I can also add as many charges at the prosecutorial level as I need to. And then once we know what sentence this person received, if they received a sentence, you can add that by clicking the plus button, the date they were sentenced, what the sentence was, just click the plus to add multiple. And not all the sentences will have are not time sensitive. So if it's something like a fine or mandated counseling, you can leave the years, months, and days blank. Okay, and then I'm going to save. And now I have completed entering data on the offender demographics as well as that person's interaction with the criminal justice system.